to Empowering Rural Communities. Definitely, let's go around the room, have you just share who you are and what your thoughts are about rural as a resource, if you have any great resources to share, and then highlights of your ecosystem. So John, do you want to start or did you already do it?
Nope, I'll start. Idaho STEM ecosystem, rural. I've always thought that rural was a great advantage. I taught in a rural district. I started my teaching career in Mesa, Arizona, where we had, at that time, the district had 53,000 students. And then I moved to a small mountain town in Idaho City, where we had 163 students.
Thanks, Kelly. And Jose, I have to echo what you were saying about educators. I had a really interesting conversation with our ND EPSCoR director at one of our universities. And, you know, we always talk about the emphasis on STEM careers. And she made the point that one of those STEM careers that we need to emphasize is a STEM educator. You know, and how many times do we talk about the engineers and the health professionals and all of the professionals that we're educating to go out into the workforce, but who's educating them? You know, so we need to think about that. To me, here in North Dakota, I think we also have a wealth of resources. What I love about rural is that we all kind of feel that we're on the same playing field. We know each other. It's kind of a small community, even though we have a large state geographically. We're pretty small in population, and it's not unusual for us to sit at a meeting and say, you know, you throw out a name and someone will say, oh, I know that person, or I know someone who knows that person. And I could call the governor's marketing person today. I've got him on speed dial. I can talk to pretty much anybody. And the worst they're going to tell you is no. And I've heard that so many times it doesn't bother me anymore. That, you know, we just ask the question. And, you know, my go-to answer is yes, when somebody asks me to partner with them. I think we should always partner. And when you find that really across the state, in our area, that people want to partner, they want to work together because, you know, a rising tide lifts all ships. And so we all really tend to work together. And so when you're in a rural area, I think you have much richer partnerships because you don't have a whole bunch of people doing all the same thing. You have people doing lots of different things. And so you get groups together and you've got folks with just this wealth of knowledge and information who came from all different areas. Even though they're rural, they might have come from all over the place. So they bring this all together. And to me, that's the exciting thing. And what ecosystems really do too is to kind of, you know, suss them out. You know, we get them together and we give them this this place, this platform to bring those ideas together and have yes be your go-to answer. So that's what we try to do in North Dakota anyway.
I like that interesting concept of, you know, working together. That's kind of what I was talking about too, is we're a little bit closer in rural. You got to lean on each other. You know who each other are in the community, and then also what your projects are, right? Like what your year goal is, or maybe you're building something in the community. It definitely takes a little bit more, I think, traction in a bigger space where everybody's doing their own thing and close their door. I've noticed moving to a bigger areas that a lot of teachers close their door and head down and get through it by themselves. So great point. What about Dale?
Good morning, everybody. Dale McCready. I'm the Vice President of Audience and Community Engagement at Discovery Center, which is in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. Been hanging out in this group, not an official ecosystem, with big hopes to create a number of them across the state. And so not involved in the convening or any of that, but really excited to be here and to benefit from all the expertise. We are excited. I started hanging out because we were writing a grant to do work that we were very committed to, which was leveraging what we call the Science Alliance of Tennessee, which is 6 different museums across the state of Tennessee, which is very long and far away from one end to the other. So trying to leverage our resources to work with the most rural communities in Tennessee. And that was really a charge of the governor a couple years ago. And we finally, some months ago, got a national leadership grant from the Institute for Museum and Library Services. So now we're really going to do it. We are in the earliest stages where the 6 museums are coming together. We've been meeting regularly. We have a retreat next month where we're in the process of really 2 things. One is to do internal asset mapping. And it was really the asset mapping session that sucked me right into this group before. So we'll be interested to hear, other strategies. But doing some internal asset mapping, and then we have strategies for how we will begin in the coming year working with 3 counties and then 3 counties and then doing a dissemination. So hopefully there's 90 some counties in our state. I think 3/4 of them are considered significantly rural. So we're excited. We're really just starting to reach out to a couple communities, but I'm also totally thrilled because first of all, I love working with these colleagues across these different museums, and I think I'm one of the only ones who is a transplant from Philadelphia. So my background is not rural, much more urban. So I'm learning, we're all learning, and we're really meant to have this be a learning experience. But one of our most exciting new assets is Taylor Tapley, who's on this call, who just joined us and is going to be helping to coordinate this whole project out of Discovery Center. And if it's okay with you, Kelly, I'll pass the buck to her. I'm excited because she comes with experience in asset mapping from the political arena and is also a rural Tennessean. So we're strengthening out the holes that I have with the resources she have, and hopefully we'll be bashing ahead and doing some great things in the coming years.
Yeah, absolutely. Welcome, Taylor.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much. Yeah, I'm super excited to be joining this team with Dale. Just rural education is something that is so near and dear to my heart. I grew up in a town that has less than 200 people. I grew up on a 300-acre farm in the middle of nowhere in Tennessee and and have worked and grown up in the most rural counties in Tennessee. I have done environmental education, and before that kind of worked in community engagement and grassroots strategies and political campaigns, specifically in rural communities, really trying to understand what's important to them and how we can implement policies and procedures that better their living, but also don't take away from all the things that are special and unique about rural living, because I think that that's something that we want to preserve what it means to be rural, but also bring life to that in a new way.
We are so happy you're in our group. Yay. Welcome.
And
All
so
right.
thank you all, because we're going to be like, information sucks and try to figure out all sorts of neat things as we go forward, because we really want this to be an opportunity for us to play a leadership role in our state and see what can happen.
Well, on behalf of Arizona Ecosystem, you can come as our guest if you'd like to attend the convening just to check it out. You don't have to be official. You can come as I'd like to see what it is, try before you buy. So if you're interested, definitely come on out to Bay City.
Thank you. Awesome. Thanks,
All right,
Kelly.
you're welcome. Jeannie?
Good morning, everybody. Yeah, I've been going in and out of this group, and it introduced me to Beth, and Beth and I got to meet last summer. We actually like hugged, I think, at an event for science teachers in Fargo, North Dakota. So it was wonderful. I met Beth here. She brought some of her colleagues. Beth, I want you to know that we got our funding again. And this time we got it expanded so that we're going to do some virtual. We're going to have like 20 people in person and 40 people virtually to address some of the things that I know you guys are talking about. So we're excited about that. When I say that, I'm working with agriculture mostly. So we got a NIFA grant, USDA NIFA grant to work with rural teachers in Ohio. And I know people think Ohio, Cleveland, Columbus, Cincinnati, but 35% of our teachers 35% of our students are in rural schools in Ohio, and half of our acreage is in farmland. So you may think Cleveland, Cincinnati, especially everybody's thinking about Cincinnati right now because we're really cool, you know, just for this moment in time, if you're following NFL football. But we are basically, we have a big rural community. So I work with Ohio agriculture groups and national agriculture groups. And Jose, I have to say to you, I was talking to the education director of the United Soybean Board earlier this week, and she mentioned North Carolina as an area of interest. Now, I don't know if you guys grow a lot of soybeans. I wrote it down because I know you're not top 10 in soybeans, but imagine somebody is interested in the teachers in your state for whatever reason. So I'm going to put my email in the box, and anybody wants to talk about agriculture or rural coalitions that want to center around agriculture, we're having a great time. It's a 2-year cohort. So we get to train 40 teachers, 20 teachers, rural teachers, and really focus in on them, helping them understand the power of place-based learning, the joy of, you guys have already mentioned, of being in a rural community. A lot of them have connections to agriculture, of course, because we're in Ohio. So anybody that's interested in that, here's my email address, and I would love to talk with you about that. So just send me an email and we'll chat, because we are working with some national ag groups that are interested in helping teachers around the country feel joyful about being in rural agriculture-based states, or states that are producing food for everyone. So this is a lot of fun for me because it's the only place I go. Frankly, I'm in a lot of these kind of meetings. Only place I go where people go, rah, rah, rural. You know, it's the only place. Everybody's like urban, urban, urban. Not that I'm against urban kids. Okay, so get it right. But this is the only place I go where everybody seems to love rural teachers and rural communities. And so thank you, Kelly, for continuing to pull us together. I appreciate it.
Like Taylor mentioned, I'm a rural kid at heart. I'll never, I just went home to visit the farm, and it's just a different situation. And if they've never lived it, they don't really understand. And you're right. I love urban. I love everywhere, right? But there's something special about a rural student who, especially those fighting the snow right now. All right, let's jump over to Bruce. Thank you.
Hey everyone, I'm Bruce Middleton. I'm part of the North Carolina STEM ecosystem. I manage STEM East in Eastern North Carolina, and quite honestly, I work for Jose. I work for Jose and 29 other counties that I listen to very carefully and try to connect them to resources that help them. And in many cases, I connect them to Jose. So again, you kind of see a big part that Jose plays in our ecosystem. But we are all of Eastern North Carolina. That probably doesn't mean a lot to you, but it's 29 counties. It is all rural. As a matter of fact, it's, believe it or not, though we're in North Carolina, it's one of the most rural places in the country, because it really is just, forests that you drive through and spotty towns, and it's where you drive through to get to the beach. But anyway, that's neither here nor there, but we are very rural. We're working really hard with our districts. This is always a great conversation. I love being part of this. Jeannie, I'm going to reach out to you pretty quickly because of your connections with agriculture and some of the things we're starting to do in this area around agriculture. It'd be helpful to have that conversation with you. So I'll just end this by the reminder of we work for Jose. So, okay.
Don't say that. Don't put that out there, Bruce.
We all need to call Jose. That's funny. All right, we've got Tara and Lisa. So Tara, would you like to share? Thanks, Bruce.
Sure, happy to share. It's a snow day here in New Mexico. And so New Mexico, can you hear me? Yeah. Thank you. So my camera's off because I've got lots happening around my house. So I'm at home, not at work. Explorer is located in Albuquerque, but we've been working statewide. And one of the things that's been super popular in supporting teachers are workshops via Zoom. So I had a giant box of kits going out to teachers that I took to the post office last night. I think we got about 40 teachers joining us. They'll all mess around, play with materials, a couple hours on Zoom, and then it's been really fun to listen to how they're implementing them in their classrooms, or they're building kits that they're sending out. We had previously been traveling a lot around the state, and so this has sort of ended up being a really great way to still connect and support the teachers and the students statewide. But I love being part of this and listening to all the ideas and what everyone else is doing, and taking away things of like, oh, I need to think about that in New Mexico.
I just think it's funny. I have friends in Albuquerque and Alamogordo, and when my friend in Albuquerque said it was a snow day, I thought, oh, really? Interesting. That's why I was shaking my head earlier of, oh, okay.
Yes, and now I'm getting a request of, can you get the sleds out of the garage? So
Oh, that's
will be
awesome.
listening in the background.
All right, and Lisa.
Good morning, Kelly and everybody. I've been on a few of these calls. I've really enjoyed them. We are actually starting a new STEM hub called Coastal Virginia STEM Hub. So it is a huge metropolitan statistical area. We've got probably 3 to 4, if not more, counties that are rural, and probably the majority of 10 to 12 that are urban. So it is a mixed group. So I'm kind of soaking in everything that you subject matter experts are sharing. We're working with ties, and we're kind of new at this, but we have a lot of industry engagement. We have a lot of educational engagement, and a lot of support, and it's growing. So just trying to understand it all and not boil the ocean at one time. But I missed the asset mapping session. I had a conflict, and I'd love to get some information on that if anybody tracked that. But thank you. Thank you for everything you're sharing.
Yeah, absolutely. That was going to be my closing thought today. If there's, and we do have, probably about 8 of us that are, coming each month. But for those out there kind of rethinking, what do we do next, right? We're at my final agenda for this invite. We've reached February, which is insane to me that we're still virtual, but it's February. So I'm curious, what would we like to do next? Would you like another asset mapping opportunity? Because that was a huge hit. We also had broadening engagement, or if there's other topics that anybody would like to present on, have their team share out. I'm looking for ideas to keep us coming back for a reason. They can be short presentations, they can be resource sharing, but I've had a lot of support from the asset mapping topic. So I think we do another round next month, and we can invite others that would like to share on that. But any thoughts from the group?
Kelly, I know you connected Jose and I regarding the asset mapping, and I reached back to him. I was on my way out of town, so I'm back now. The 3 people that really did the presentation on asset mapping, I facilitated it, but the 3 who did the actual presentation was Cal Manis from Arizona, Joanne Coggin from Vancouver, and Mary Margaret Small from the upstate New York. So I'm going to reach out to the 3 of them and see if they have an interest in either presenting again or doing some kind of a group chat or something, because they had some awesome resources and more resources than I've got. We're very new to this as well, but I'd be happy to facilitate it again, and I'm going to reach out to them. I just have not done that yet, but I will.
Excellent. Yeah, we also had a shorter version during one of these Connect calls with, oh my goodness, what is his name? We had another professional share. So maybe we'll do a little bit of both. If they're willing to do an actual workshop, I say let's offer that. And then we could also do just a quick touch base on our next call next month. I'll bring back my 2, the shorter versions. So yeah, Beth, if you'll check on that, that'd be great. Is there any other topic? Yep, go ahead, Lisa.
How about funders? Have we had a topic on funders? and how to approach them?
No, I think that's a great topic.
We're actually hosting something this month, and Tice has lined up the speaker for us. And it's a unique group, right? But it's a valuable group. And I think there's so much demand in industry, but foundations and philanthropic entities, I think it's important that they know what they're funding, the return on that investment, and how it impacts the economic development entities.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. So there's a little bit of approach to, I think everybody kind of forgets about the trust and, you know, the other types of giving regardless of grant or sponsorship. So I think that's a great point to, what are you doing in your area? Okay,
Right.
excellent. I'll put that down. Anybody else?
I put in the chat, are you all familiar with that organization, National Rural Education Association, that does a conference every year? Are you guys familiar with that group?
We have representation, but well, not SciTech Institute, but I'm slightly familiar with it.
Yeah, I went a couple of years ago when it was in Louisville, and it really was a great experience, but I have not been back since then. And so I just didn't know. It was a great conference 2 years ago or before COVID. So I just didn't know. There might be somebody from that organization that seems to promote rural education. I'm happy to reach out to them and see if they're interested in talking with this group, if that's helpful.
I would love it. Thank you. Yeah.
Okay, we'll do that.
Sorry, I posted twice the same thing, but is this, I was just sent a link to this ruralassembly.org group that's having a conference. Is that the same thing or is that something different?
It's something different. It looks completely different.
Yeah.
So
Let's connect with them too.
they have this thing coming up. It seems free. I just signed up. I was partially signed up yesterday, and then it was starting to give me lessons on how to use some sort of thing, and I got sidetracked to a meeting, but it might be worth thinking about.
Yeah, I love it. Awesome. Yeah, if you reach out to them and let us know if the National Rural Education Association is, I believe we actually have somebody here in Arizona that's on the board, maybe. Feel like we've talked to him. So let's definitely check it out. That'd be a great resource. And then also what Dale posted. Any other, oh, we got another one. NREA.net.
Yeah, I posted the National Rural Education Association in the chat. I went to their conference this year. It was very good. They have a great newsletter too, if you want to sign up for the free newsletter. Lots of programs going on around the country, research opportunities, grants, that type of thing.
Perfect. Exactly what we were looking for. Right, Lisa?
The executive director's in Chattanooga, Tennessee, by the way.
I was just going to say, I think this, we have that person on our advisory board for this new project.
Whoa.
So,
Yeah.
You probably
I
should
think,
talk
what's
to him.
his name? I was just going to
Alan Pratt. His name's Alan Pratt.
That's it.
Dale, if you know him, then you should reach out to him. I mean, I don't know him at all. I just know that conference a couple years ago, but I think that would be great if they'd be willing to come on and say, like you said, here's what we do. Here's the connections. Here's what we bring to the table. I think that'd be great.
I'm happy to reach out to him. And the other person we might think about at some point talking is, do you know Sue Allen? She had, she organized a convening. She's from Maine, was from the Exploratorium, now she's in Maine. And she convened a conference on actually trying to define what is rural, what does it mean to be rural, all that kind of thing. And she has a report, which I can find and share here or afterwards if I don't find it right away. But just as a conversation, she might be another one to just, if you want to have some people come for some interesting conversation.
Yeah, I love it. And it's more about what do you guys want, right? I'm just the convener. I love this opportunity to chat. So I think these are great ideas for us to work on. All right, so asset mapping, funding, cool rural contacts, leadership. And it sounds like 4 good months right there. And then we'll see each other in person. We can get hugs. Awesome. Well, thank you all for continuing to join, and I will write up some notes, share it out, and we'll chat again soon. We'll see you in the chat box. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Kelly.